Well, welcome back to another Run Disney Rundown. Run Disney, the 2025-2026 season is finally upon us, and it's kicking off with Disneyland Halloween Half Weekend. And we are here to do our rundown, tell you what to expect. I've got a couple gripes with the Expo guide, to be honest, which we will go into in just a bit. But we're excited to be here. We're excited to chat with you guys. If you don't know, we actually won't be at Halloween Half Weekend. We leave for the UK on Thursday, and then we are going to be on the Disney Fantasy that next Monday for the British Isles sailing. If you happen to be watching this and also on that cruise, which would be wild, please say hi. But we are looking forward to that. It is going to be a lot of fun. But we still wanted to bring you the what to expect video. Plus, we just have a lot of fun doing these live streams, chatting with you. If you are tuning in, let us know if you're running this weekend. Let us know what you're training for and how your training's going. As always, feel free to drop the questions, have fun in the chat. We love to interact with the chat and have a good time on these live streams. But, Katie, how's your training going?
Actually, it's going pretty good now. Rough summer, but I will say I think the past month and a half, I've gotten back into a good groove and feeling good with the runs and all of that stuff. So, what do you think? Would you agree with that assessment?
I do, yeah. I think your training, she's been more consistent than I have, but I actually am okay with the place I'm in. I've had a couple good long runs, which has made me feel good about getting kind of through to Wine and Dine and then building up to Dopey.
Yeah, I mean, you needed a little break after your full and, just to kind of rest and reassess and then get back started. And I feel like the past couple weeks you've been doing real good.
Yeah, it has been good. And I've been coaching with Fleet Feet for their fall marathon program. So that's been a lot of fun too, getting to work with athletes and work through their training programs. So that's been really cool too. I've been really enjoying that. But like I said, let us know what you're training for in the chat. But we are here to talk about Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon Weekend. We ran it last year, and quite frankly, I thought it was one of the best themed Run Disney race weekends. Disneyland, as hard as they go for Halloween, just makes a really nice cohesive theme for the weekend. If you haven't already, we do have videos from that race weekend, 10K and half marathon video. Now the course for the half marathon will be different, which we will get into, but most of the key points that you care about are going to be in that, to be honest.
Yeah, you still get all that wonderful part time, especially with the 10K and then the half, so that's the most fun part.
Yeah, Lily says, Magic Key Holder here. I'll treasure every Disneyland mile we have left doing the 5K, 10K, and the half at Halloween. Yes, unfortunately, this weekend and then Disneyland weekend in that beginning of first week of February will be the last two Disneyland race weekends for a while, which really does stink. We just got them back, and now we're losing them again.
Yep, it was really a really hard decision to not do something at Disneyland, knowing that it was gonna be going away again, hopefully for not ever. But yeah, at least we got a couple in.
We did, and doing the first one and the inaugural Halloween were both very special.
Yeah,
so
that was such a great memory. And you don't have to do every race every weekend to be a Run Disney person.
Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Wendy says, hi, long time no chat. Has been a little bit since we've done a live stream for sure.
We've been on summer hiatus, like all the good sitcoms,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, that is what has happened. No, we've been busy. And then I've been doing a lot with DCL podcasts because I do host and all of that over there. And then getting ready for our big trip here has been exciting. We were packing today and getting all the things ready. So that is all good and fun there.
Yeah. You saw Mark this morning?
Yeah. Mark was out at the park we were running at.
Mark, I didn't see you at all. That would have been fun.
Yeah, he was walking his dog.
I could have petted your dog. Oh,
You could have. You missed it.
missed opportunity.
Well, why don't we go ahead and get into it then? Um, Actually, I'm gonna go ahead before we even get into the event expo. The expo, the graphics and stuff, like I don't think are nearly as good as when we have Walt Disney World weekend. And now I understand that a lot of those graphics are the same for every Walt Disney World weekend. They just like sometimes update the colors, but for the most part, keep the maps and stuff the same. Of course maps are pretty similar every time now. But outside of course maps, there's not like very good cohesive, like, hey, here's where things are in relation to where you need to go, like runner's relation and everything. There's not any sort of map like that. So this is not what I was looking for. There we go. So this is like I made this up in like 5 minutes to be honest, so it is a little bit janky. But if you are staying either near Disneyland or California Adventure, you're staying at one of the Disneyland hotels and you're a little bit confused about where things are and where you need to go, this is a very quick map that I went ahead and whipped together right before the show because I was looking for something like this and couldn't find it and said, I guess I'll make one.
Very
This
good map.
is on our Instagram as well, so you can save it, save the regular post, or just screenshot or save the picture. As long as it is useful and helpful to you, I'm good. But anyways, so I was just gonna go over this real quick in case you are curious about where things are in relation to each other. Really, downtown Disney is like your centralized location. If you can get to downtown Disney, you can get anywhere else you need to go for the weekend. But the expo is at Disneyland Hotel, which is on that left side of the resort. It's on the very end of downtown Disney there. Super easy to get to. You go out of downtown Disney through the exit there. You go under the big hat, which is at the Disneyland Hotel, and you walk straight, and the expo is basically in the very back there. Um, One thing that's kind of weird is the Brook section. They basically had to do some sort of tent village. I'm curious to see what this is going to look like and if it's going to be hot as all get out for this. But that is like kind of up and yonder from the way the map looks. The map makes it look like it's right there, but I don't think, based on where the parking lots are, I think it's going to be closer to where I have highlighted it on the screen there. But then talking about where the actual race starts are, now the 5K, super easy. It's in Disneyland. If you can get to Disneyland, you can get to that 5K race start. Wonderful race start. 5Ks are awesome. We will get into that after we talk about the expo. But if you're running the 10K, the half marathon, or you're participating in the kids' races, I don't think it's super clear on where you are supposed to be going. Now, there are addresses and everything for this. But if you are know how to get to downtown Disney or you're staying at like one of the Disney resorts, you are going to be making your way all the way across downtown Disney. Now, if you're at one of those good neighbor hotels that are right across the street on Harbor Boulevard, good news for you. You are very close to the race start and finish, which I think is excellent and a great benefit for staying in one of those resorts over there. But the half and the 10K start area, you will be able to see basically coming from downtown Disney. You can see it on the road, but it is the big parking lot kind of back in that area. But you cannot walk straight to that start. You actually have to go kind of around the block, and it kind of takes you down an alley between hotels. You can see where I have highlighted that enter start area. I do believe there is also a back entrance for those coming from the other side. I did not mark that because I've actually never used that entrance. I've always come from this side, so that's what's notable. So if you're coming like from the downtown Disney area, you hang a quick left, and you'll see plenty of people going in that same direction. You walk through that alley, and there'll be security and everything through there. When you get into that space, typically the bag check is all the way in the far corner, basically where you can see the interstate on that rounded corner of my graphic there. And then kind of in that back area, they'll have some sort of photo opportunities as well as a stage there. And then the rest of it is basically runners relations as well as the finish line area. They kind of have a snake where you get all of your aid and all of that after the race. So yeah, like I said, if this helps you, save it, use it. If not, that's cool too. I just needed some sort of visual to talk a little bit better. Lillian says the other entrance is on South Clementine Street, which you can kind of see on that bottom right side of the screen, or kind of center right, towards the lower right corner of the race where I have the kids' race graphic at. Thank you, Lily. I do very much appreciate that. Again, threw this together very quickly, but we can move into the expo then. Do you have anything to add?
No, I don't think so. This is very cohesive.
All right. Then let me go ahead and get this going for us. Yeah, so we're going to go make our way through the event guide, of course, starting with the expo, where all of your race weekend goodies will begin. Again, you need to make your way to Disneyland Hotel. I do like that the expo is here, though the space is probably not quite large enough for what Run Disney needs. It is a pretty cool area for the expo. Um, And again, this is in that back, like right corner when you were walking to downtown Disney. Layout for the actual expo is pretty similar to what we have seen in previous years. Before we even get into the merchandise and stuff, which we know we'd rather talk about, picking up your bib. When you enter, they will funnel you up a stairs escalator right in front of you there. And then you hang a quick left, or there's some stairs there as well. And then you will see the Club Run Disney stuff is kind of off to the left. And on the right is where you will have your bib pickup. This is a pretty good like size and space for this section actually. And usually it was like really nicely themed for almost every race because they did big projections of the rate, like where the pickups were back on the wall and everything. It was like a nice check-in section, which I thought was pretty good. You'll see pretty much all the races except for the challenge are on the left side when you enter. Challenges on the right, and then account services, runner relations is in that back corner. Do make sure if you are eligible for your coast to coast, when you get your bib, they should give you a wristband that says coast to coast eligible. If for whatever reason they didn't give that to you and you are eligible, go to runners relations. They'll get that figured out for you. We've had it happen to a couple members of our group before. But it's always been resolved very easy. From there, you go back downstairs to all of the fun. And once you enter there, it's pretty much a big, long room, and all of the other things that would usually be in little separate buildings for a Walt Disney World weekend is all condensed into one expo space. Your shirt pickup is pretty much right there when you get in. I will note they moved pre-purchase merchandise to look like it's over in the merchandise section this time, which makes me think you might need a virtual queue for it, but you will probably need to discuss that with a cast member when you get there. Because I did not see anything clarifying that, but they did move it. It used to be over by the shirt exchange. Down in that little lower section, they have the Run Disney Hub. That's where your medal pictures are going to be. All of the future medals will be down there. Usually there's a really nice display for photos down there as well. And then you'll have your expo hall. Usually they've had a pretty good, pretty dense expo section there. Again, it's not quite as sprawling as the Walt Disney World weekend, and there's usually not like one big unified vendor, like Fit to Run being kind of that middle section with all of those like, extra shoes and knickknacks and stuff like that. Not knickknacks, but like essential gears. It is a lot more of like smaller vendors, I would say.
Yeah, and specifically with the Disneyland, I feel like have some more random things in there. Like I
I agree.
remember they had like Disney weddings and events had a little booth in there. That was the most random one that I remember.
They had like
Um,
the photo van in there last
yes,
time.
yeah. So I don't know if they just didn't have as many external like exhibitors sign up, so they pulled from like the Disney resources that they had, or if that was on purpose or whatnot. But that was just something I had noticed.
Yeah. And then similar to Walt Disney World, they are utilizing a virtual queue for both the Brooks launch, which will be new to the Disneyland Expo, and is looks like they're trying to make it work similarly, but again, it's in a little bit of a different place, so it'll be a little bit different.
I do have a question for you because I'm not sure if your map is right now that I'm looking at this map because this if this is oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, so basically what Katie is trying to show me is that Brooks Village may be one parking lot lower than where it was on the graphics, which is very possible. Regardless, there's going to be plenty of people
Yeah.
pointing you to where it
It'll be
will be.
clear. I think because you have it up here. Is it not right here?
No,
Oh,
it
okay.
is definitely, it's going to be in that general line of parking lot. It might just be one lot lower, but in general, that's the building.
Oh, sorry, my phone is
So it's going to be up and to the right.
okay, because that's the front of Disneyland Hotel, Disney. Okay. We'll see.
I,
I believe you.
okay.
I didn't want to like put it up there and not question it if it steered people wrong.
No, it's going to be up and to the right.
Okay.
Anyways, you need the virtual queue for both of the Run Disney merchandise as well as for the Brooks Village. Now, if Brooks runs the shoe launch similar to they did at Walt Disney World, it was beautiful. It was easy.
Worked really well.
Yeah, there was different sections for everything you need. So I hope that they have a successful launch like they did for that one. Honestly, that's really all I have to say
And
about
I think
it.
using a virtual queue for that specifically is going to be a win.
Yep. One thing that was a question we had actually that it is on there, but the Brooks booth only takes credit or debit. They don't take any sort of discount, any sort of gift cards, or any of that. Not Disney, not Brooks. It is strictly credit or debit. They
no
also
cash.
don't take cash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just something of a heads up. Yeah, the only nice thing with the virtual queue for Disneyland is you don't have to put specific people. You can just put your party, and then you get one QR code for the party, which makes it a little bit easier when you've got multiple people going in. We unfortunately do not know what the weekend shoe is quite yet.
I'm sure they'll be revealed in the next couple of days, though.
Yeah, probably like right when we get done this,
Yeah,
they'll be revealed.
I do think they have a weekend shoe. That was kind of the whole point of them doing this.
I believe they
this
did.
thing.
They teased some different themes for shoes, and a weekend shoe is definitely
And
happening.
I'm sure it's gonna look really cool for
Because I
Halloween.
believe they confirmed that there was a weekend shoe for Halloween and that there would be one for Wine and Dine.
Yeah, I'm so excited for both of those.
Yes, and I do believe if you are a Brooks, whatever their Brooks club, like email club member is, they did like a little teaser saying, "Hey, we're gonna be revealing it soon." But I haven't seen anyone share what the actual reveal is yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten it yet because I get those emails. So
yeah, we will move on to the 5K then. If you have any other questions about the expo, about doing the Disneyland Expo, let us know. Let's go and pop that 5K. Now, this is again where I think the information on the expo guide kind of lacks. Again, typically for other race weekends, there is a ton of different graphics and other info, and this is basically 2 paragraphs in the race map. But telling you what time the parking structure open, what time security's open, which is 3:30 a.m. The staging areas and corrals open at 4 a.m. Race start at 5 a.m. Now, what's cool about the Disneyland 5Ks is you start in Disneyland Park. I think that is pretty much incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is we have not run the 5Ks, but from everything we've heard, these are like the top tier Run Disney 5Ks.
I can only imagine that they would have to be.
Yeah. I mean, you start in a park, you finish in the in California
Another park.
Adventure. Um, and you get a pretty good amount of the park. You start by running through Fantasyland, and you turn out by Small World. You run some cast areas, um, and then you go in by Galaxy's Edge and go back towards Fantasyland. You'll get the running. I like that for these weekends. You do both ways through the castles if you're doing multiple races, because you get running out of the castle for this one, which I think is pretty cool. And then you're going through New Orleans and then back by River Country, and then back, and you do a little bit more Galaxy's Edge. And then you are turning out. I said River Country, I definitely meant Critter Country.
Okay, I was like, that doesn't sound right. Critter Country, that's right.
Yeah. You do run through some service areas, and then you run across the Esplanade, which is a great spot for viewing if you have people who want to watch. And then they will also be able to get into California Adventure. Just note, there's only a couple areas where they let you go for California Adventure, and typically that's been kind of right above the finish, so you can kind of see the corner as they head towards Pixar Pier, unless they have changed that, but that was our experience spectating the 5Ks. But you go right into the main entrance of California Adventure. You hang that left over towards the theater and Monsters Inc. You'll go by Guardians. And then you run real quick through Avengers Campus. Only thing you do miss with the 5Ks, you don't get to run through Cars Land. You'll be able to kind of see down it.
Mm-hmm. Which
But
that is a very fun part to run through. We'll talk about
yes.
that.
And well, you do get that in the 10K and the half marathon, though. And then you get the full loop around Pixar Pier, which looks awesome, all lit up at night. Usually that's all looking good and grand. And again, you finish right in the park,
Yeah,
which is
how
so
cool
cool.
is that?
Lily, also with all the helpful knowledge today, we appreciate you. Magic Keys get that parking discounts and are valid race mornings. There is also, if you have your Expo Pass, there is a flat $10 parking only if you use the Pixar parking.
That's wild to me. I've never even like considered that you have to pay for parking at Disneyland, because at Disney World you don't have to pay when you go that early. And I never even thought about that being a thing. So that's
Yep.
great info, especially if you're used to Disney World.
Yep, all that fun stuff with Disneyland. But that is all I have for the 5K, which I think means it's time to move on to the 10K. Again, at any point, I know we're kind of chugging along pretty fast here. We got a lot of information to get through, and then a lot of questions as well that were submitted to chat about. So if you're just joining us or you're recatching up, feel free to drop those questions, and we will get back to it. Again, not a ton of information at the top here for the 10K other than your race starts, which all falls pretty much in line with what we just saw, other than the Reunion and Corral area opens at 3:30, not 4 o'clock like the 5K. And then the 10K is for Disneyland, I think is one of the best run Disney races, like period.
Mm-hmm.
It's got one of the best courses. It's got the most like park to road time for any run Disney race. Like or Disneyland 10Ks are just like chef's kiss. They are amazing, and I hope you are getting the chance to experience this. It is, I think, the best of the weekend races for sure. The extra distance usually gives you a little bit more characters, a little more photo opportunities as well. It's a good time.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. Now, of course, you do start out on the road, and you actually do about a mile of road time at the beginning, going out around by the convention center, and then you actually go into the park around by Pixar. What is the Pixar hotel called now?
Pixar Pier?
Pixar Pier Hotel. And you actually enter right in by Cars Land, and you enter the side of Cars Land there, and you get to go and do your run out of Cars Land, and then you hang left and you're going around Pixar Pier. Again, just spoke very highly of that section during the race. You go in around by Grizzly River Rapids. I forget what that section of the park is called, to be honest. But over by Soren, that section's usually pretty cool because it's like got the light up, like the twinkle lights up in the trees.
Yes. Yeah, it's a little twisty.
Yeah, it's twisty and a little bit dark usually.
And sometimes they put characters back in this area, and it can be one, difficult to see the character, and two, a little bit of
A backup.
backup slash people trying to get over. So just something to be aware of in that area. But it is
Yeah,
very cool
there
looking.
usually is like a weird character stop back in there. But then you go basically towards the main entrance and you're running back through Avengers Land by Guardians, and you do a little loop through that Hollywood. Is it Hollywood Boulevard
That sounds right.
or Animation?
Animation Courtyard? No, that's in Hollywood Studios. Grizzly Peak.
Grizzly Peak.
Thank you.
Grizzly something, yes.
Our resident Disneyland experts.
We appreciate it. We are,
We just need to go more.
yeah, it's the obvious answer. But then you run straight across the Esplanade through the main entrance of Disneyland, and you are running straight down Main Street. Main Street's usually looking fantastic because they will project like race and Halloween themed stuff on Main Street down there.
We didn't really talk about this with the 5K and the 10K, and obviously the half will too, but California Adventure is like decked out in Halloween stuff as well, and projections, and they like light up the stuff they use for Oogie Boogie Bash, and so it's amazing for Halloween. I just have
Yeah.
to, before we move on into Disneyland Park, but
Yeah,
it's awesome.
we have some really like cool Run Disney photos of like some of the projections and stuff. And again, I do have videos of both those races, and you can see them in there. And I tried pretty hard to like highlight some of the projections and stuff for that race weekend. But you're going down Main Street and you hang a left through Adventureland, kind of past New Orleans Square, back through Critter Country. You swing quickly through Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and then kind of towards Adventureland again and New Orleans. And you're coming back towards the center spoke there, towards the castle to go across the park over towards Tomorrowland. And then you do a quick jump through Tomorrowland over by the Matterhorn, and then you are into Fantasyland. You actually do not run straight through the castle though for the 10K. And I feel like in the past we did. I feel like we went through the castle and then into Tomorrowland. So that is kind of interesting. But you do get a ton of park time here because you're still in the park here. You go back and you do another section through Galaxy's Edge. And what I love about Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge with Run Disney, you actually get to go by the Millennium Falcon because you can get down onto that level there. And then you go out the cast entrance there. But then you circle back and come back into the park again by Toontown. And you do a little section through Toontown. And then you go out by Small World again. And then you get to go and run the service tunnel, which is always kind of just interesting and different. One of those things that you probably may not have known was there. And then from there, you are finishing. You do have this little like distance maker here, a little out and back to get you that 6.2 into the finish. And you cut that quick left and a right, and you are in the finish where you started there. Again, I love the Disneyland 10K course. I think they're phenomenal. It is like peak race. You get really good front of the castle shots with the 10Ks. January's 10K also didn't go through, but the front of the castle photos are prime.
Nice.
Good. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I could see how they could like get a good angle there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then also just like a good photo op in front of the castle, which is one thing that from the races we did was missing, was like the front of the standing in front of the castle type of photo op.
Because they just don't have the same amount of
Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is the 10K. Again, like peak race for Run Disney. So good.
That's the one I'm most like upset about not doing.
Yeah. And then we have the half marathon, the big one, the one you are probably doing for your Coast to Coast challenge. Because if you didn't have to do it, I don't know that you would be missing too much, to be honest.
I would just do the thing.
Yeah, I mean the 10K and the 5K are the best two races for Disneyland, and honestly, the redeeming qualities that the half marathon used to have does not have in this course. And I had to go back and look and be like, did they really cut everything I liked about the half marathon, or I thought was redeeming about the half marathon? And they did. So we will get into this. Don't get me wrong, you still get 6 miles in the parks, but that whole 6 miles is at the beginning, and then from there you have basically another 7 miles that is all going to be on the road, and there's going to be not a whole lot to look at and do. Um, Powered by Pixie Dust said, "Thanks for doing this. I love the Disneyland courses. We'll see everyone there. Good luck. Have a great weekend." Um, Yeah, so start looks actually very similar to the 10K basically. You do that same first mile out around by the convention center and in by the Pixar Hotel, pretty much in over by Cars Land again, going down Cars Land around Pixar Pier through Grizzly Peak, and then out over towards Avengers by Guardians and through Hollywood Land, and then you were going out the Esplanade. A little bit different here, at least for me, is that you're going not straight into the park. The Actually, there's quite a bit of little like spaghetti bowling in Disneyland. It looks like they did try to add some distance in there.
It's good. Sorry. I was first laughing at the way you say
Yes, I
Esplanade,
know.
and then you said spaghetti bowling, and that was also funny.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were just getting to. Lily says that half path out of Critter Country by New Orleans goes both directions and will be tight. It definitely looks like that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's what I was describing as this spaghetti ball over here in the left side of Disneyland. Does this work the way? Nope,
Nope.
that does not work the way I needed it to. That is unfortunate. Um, Anyways, actually, can I do it? I think this will work the way I need it to.
Boom, baby.
Yeah, there we go. Technology. All right. Anyways, so you hit mile 3, you're through this cast entrance, and then you're cutting in this right here. Again, this is where it looks like you've got 2 lanes of running here, which is going to be pretty tight. Disneyland is not big and sprawling. You know, you get away with that in some places in Walt Disney World, but that's going to be a tight area for sure. And I'm surprised that it sounds like they've done this before. I'm surprised that that has not changed. But then you swing in and it looks like you hit mile 5 and
You go down.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you're going. I was trying to figure out. Oh, you're not. Yeah, because
You have
mile
to you
3.
have to do a crosswalk. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
You go
this
down.
again. What is with the graphics for Disneyland Weekend? So the 5 like needs to be moved
Covers,
up a
yeah.
little bit more so it doesn't cover part of the course here. I'm trying to figure out if you did a whole loop, but we're not even at mile 5 yet, which I guess common sense. You're going the opposite way down Main Street though, which is kind of interesting. And then you're looping around the front, so that's kind of cool. Hopefully, there's like some good photo ops in
Are
the front
you
there.
are you full on? You're full on
Yeah, you
exiting.
full on exit the
Huh.
park there and
That
you
is
loop
cool.
around. So it looks like you're going out both the entrances there. So that is definitely kind of neat there. And then you're going back in and cutting back through, looks like another service entrance to enter Tomorrowland, doing a loop back towards the center. So you'll kind of loop and see the castle there,
I feel like they're really trying to get more park time in here, like
which
loops and stuff, which is something like,
it needs.
yeah,
I think you used to be out of the park by like mile 5.
yeah. I don't feel like we asked for it because I don't know if we thought this was possible, but this could be nice.
Yeah, I mean, more park time is
Yeah,
definitely nice. It's what this course needs
yeah, for
for
sure.
sure. But yeah, so then you're going back towards Fantasyland by Small World. You go out that service entrance again and going back in through Toontown, Toontown back to Fantasyland, and here's where you're gonna get the running out of the castle shot again. So you actually are doing both of your shots going through the front of the castle, which is kind of
It's
what,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we expect of like
yeah.
Disney World. You run
Iconic.
through it, yep. And then you are going to be cutting that right through Frontierland and running pretty much all the way down that through New Orleans Square. Again, this is where it might be getting tight with runners going both directions here and back through Critter Country. Good section through Galaxy's Edge here. You loop around the outside of Galaxy's Edge, then you loop back to the inside, back by Millennium Falcon there. And then you are out of the service entrance in the back there. And unfortunately, that's where I think the charm of this course is just about over. You've got quite a bit of road and highway miles. You got a lot of tile and hardware stores to look at. I'm telling you, you're going to notice them.
Yep.
It's like every other store is some sort of tile and grout store.
This is where my sister-in-law, started playing the ABC game, which I have adopted whenever I run in Anaheim now.
Yeah, and I will say from like when we did Disneyland to Halloween, like they've slowly built back up some of that community stuff and added a little bit more, but you're not going to have any character stops out through here.
Several DJ moments, and then some
DJs and bands,
which are nice. And
Yeah.
honestly, like I feel like at the last Halloween we did, like the DJ kind of like spirit and vibe and like, you know, pumping people up was like pretty good when I went through. So it's some fun.
If the course can't bring the charm to you, you have to bring the charm to the course.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I mean, you really
use
do.
that. I'm stealing that.
Now, what is interesting too about this course is that it looks like they're going to be utilizing both lanes, whereas the course used to like zigzag one way and then come back another way. It's kind of like a big out and back now.
Yep. And I feel like, and I know you've mentioned this, heard a lot of people mention that it's set up in a way to where if they have to shorten this course easily, they can do that, which it has been an issue for this race. So
Yep, weather's looking a little bit better, luckily.
Better. Yeah.
Not quite the
Still gonna be
extreme hundreds that we've had in years before.
Yeah.
But yes, it does look like they at any point could cut this course if there was some sort of weather advisory.
Yeah.
But then, you know, usually the benefit to running all the way back there was that you got to run by the Honda Stadium and they had like the hockey players out. And then
was usually my favorite part of the most recent ones. I will say the hockey stadium was a fun time.
And then you would run on the trail back there. And then depending on the race,
I hated that trail.
I didn't mind it.
I hate that trail.
Only thing that stunk about that trail was the bikers like didn't care that the course was closed and they were just like trying to blow by you.
There were a lot more bikers when I went by.
Yeah.
And a lot more people.
And then it was for Halloween half, we had gotten to run through the stadium, the Angel Stadium, and that's all been cut out as well, unfortunately. That all would have been on the other side of the freeway there. Yeah. So again, it was at least fun that you like had something to run to, but for this now, you're kind of just doing an out and back to get your half marathon distance is kind of what that feels like.
Maybe try to get some negative splits and crank up a good playlist.
That was when I did Halloween, that was kind of my plan was I did the characters and everything through the parks. And then once I got out of the park, I was just like, all right, let's just run fast.
Yeah, just race a 10K and see how fast you can do a 10K.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like terrible terrain either. There's a couple like overpass bridges that are a little bit hilly.
And for some folks in like middle to back of the pack, it may feel good to just be able to spread out for a little bit. I feel like I felt that way last year. Having a little bit of breathing room was nice until we got to the stadium, and then the stadium was really crowded.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, but otherwise, then you get back to that finish.
I love the finish.
Yeah.
They have a good finish line.
Their finish and their start are really well themed too.
I love the way they set up the cameras and the screens with the finish line.
Yeah, because like if you're in the reunion area, you can still see the people finishing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just a cool thing. And they have a really good setup. I'm assuming they'll still be able to do it based on what I'm looking at. They have a really good setup where people can cheer in like along the finish chute and then out. I mean, you can pretty much
all up to the road
and cheer, and it gets packed with people cheering. And so that is very, very fun and something that feels different than the way it does at Disney World, because Disney World
You're coming out
one,
of
you
a
can't, you're
park.
coming out of a park, so there's a cutoff, and two, they do hold back some sections and you can only be on one side, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a different vibe there.
No, there is a good
It's a
electricity to
super,
the
super fun
finish,
vibe.
especially for the half where there's more people out to
Yeah.
spectate. It's a little
and
bit
and
later.
it gets like the heavy crowd appears like sooner in the race, like as you're coming to the finish, like you have more people there, and the cheering, especially at the end of a half marathon, is much appreciated, and very it gives you a good boost towards the end
Yeah,
there.
that is one benefit to having so much like open road is you get more people on the course. You get some more community out. Typically,
Yeah.
there's the Star Wars people out saying bring back the Star Wars races.
Yep.
I think
I'm
they've
sure
been
they'll
out
be
for
out.
every
Yeah.
race.
They're fun. There's, because you'll see stuff that you can tell is obviously set up by Run Disney to be there, and then you also get community folks who come out and just set up on the side and cheer and stuff. So that is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And you also have the opportunity, if it's something that helps you, you pass by like gas stations, McDonald's, convenience stores. If you're like, I need to run in and get a Coke or a banana. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not a banana.
Yeah.
Hash brown.
So that is pretty much the rundown for Halloween half weekend. We do have a couple more questions here, both from our Patreon page as well as the link on Instagram. If you have any other questions about the race weekend training or anything like that, now will be the time to put them in there. We'll spend a couple more minutes answering questions, and then we will let y'all get ready for the weekend. And we will,
eat dinner.
yep, and get back to packing. So we did have on our Patreon page, again, thank you to our patrons who do help support the channel. You can help support us at patreon.com /mousegen. One tier, super easy. We post some early stuff, some exclusive content, and just have some fun. And again, we appreciate those who do help support what we do and support the channel. But then Lils said she's got a couple questions. One, which race weekend do you think is the best for the upcoming race weekend? I mean, overall, like Halloween villains are pretty solid. Overall, the challenge is probably the most appealing. You have the Hades Pain and Panic.
Yeah. I will say we didn't talk about it at all because we never do it, but I think the Queen of Hearts is the yoga mascot, and I thought her graphic was really cute. So I don't know if that counts, but I just feel a little like tired of
Villains.
villains, but I'm not a huge villain gal. I do say I like Hercules the best, like so Pain and Panic, but
Yeah, I do think the like last year's Halloween themes I thought were a little stronger. Like
yes,
right,
I
I
did like
am a
last year.
sucker for attraction themed races. So like have a haunted mansion themed race is like totally my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But villains are popular.
Yeah.
Totally
I've been really
understand that.
bitter about the villains and races ever since they shoehorned them into Wine and Dine, to be honest. So they haven't earned my affection back.
Yeah. If you could choose a theme for a weekend, any theme, Disney theme at all, what would it be? Oh, attractions or defunct attractions, attraction throwbacks. My like peak race weekend would be like a race that's themed to each park, and then you get to run through that park for the race.
I have two. I have like a more serious one that maybe could happen and one that would probably never happen. One would be theming it to the nighttime shows, so having and one of them
I love
specifically
that too.
being wishes. But happily ever after would be the one that would happen. But and then Phantasmic, and then whatever atrocity they have going on at Epcot.
I agree with that. Illuminations fans. There's a lot of Illumination stuff behind us.
And then the one that probably would never happen, but it'd be so fun, would be if they did Disney Channel, like original show,
DComs.
like DComs or like shows, so like Phineas and Ferb, and then
I could see Phineas and Ferb having a race.
Old movies, or like Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, Steve, keep an eye out for our friend Steve during the weekend, as well as Kelsey. They will be there. But he brings up a phenomenal point that I did not hit on, which I think is a great benefit for Disneyland race weekends, is your photo pass is included in your registration. Download the Disneyland app, and then on your check-in Expo Pass, which will be emailed to you, or you'll be able to find it on your Run Disney account as well. Usually it's like the day or two before that pops up, but it has your photo pass. It's one link now for all the weekends. And again, included photos for Run Disney Weekend is like such a huge plus. Like, definitely a big benefit to the Disneyland race weekends for sure. Um, what do you like more about running at Disneyland versus Walt Disney World? What do you like less? Again, Disneyland, the 5K and 10K are like premier Run Disney events. Uh, Phenomenal, absolutely like some of the best course wise for sure. Um, and then I mean, Walt Disney World is just better for the distances. The half marathon, you always are running towards something exciting. Whereas for Disneyland, once you're out of the parks, the most exciting part is till your races are done. So I definitely enjoy, especially for someone who likes half marathons and likes that distance. I do find the Walt Disney World half marathon or even like 10 miler or greater distance to be much more exciting at Walt Disney World.
I would agree with both of those things.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming pause in Disneyland races? I
Sad.
mean, yeah, it sucks. It can't not suck, right?
Yeah, like I get construction and stuff. I have a little bit of cynicism, I guess, that that's not the full story. And so that makes me like worried that they won't come back for another really long time or ever, but hopefully it is just construction related
Yeah.
and
Well,
we will get them back.
that was something too with the new course being so much like out and back on the same road was that eliminate some road closures for Anaheim. So I was wondering if that wasn't another reason why that
Oh,
was the
I'm
way they went
sure.
with the course, which would make sense. Again, we would take that over not having any
Yeah.
Disneyland races for sure.
I know it's been a contentious relationship sometimes with the city of Anaheim and getting it to work, which makes sense because it's you really have to work with them for a race like this in a location like that. What are you searching for?
Someone asked about Coast to
Oh,
Coast for
they
next year.
are. I have seen the email from Run Disney that someone posted that Disneyland in January will be the only like
Opportunity.
opportunity to earn it for 2026. So you would have to do the half there and then, you know, one of the qualifying distances in Disney World. I have
Yeah.
seen that
But we have not seen like any sort of medal
medal
or
or
anything for
anything.
that.
Yeah, I don't know what. I assume they'll design a new one. I don't know how lazy they're gonna get.
Let's see. I'm doing my first half next year at Disney, then doing Princess Fairy Tale Challenge. I'm excited and nervous. I started running after bariatric surgery, watching videos. Hey, thanks for watching. We do
That's
appreciate it.
awesome.
Yeah, that's a great story. Glad you could also tune into the channel and tune into the live. We have obviously a lot of fun, chatting with everyone on these. That's why we enjoy doing these live the way we do. Steve says the Angels also have home games next weekend, which is why the stadium probably wouldn't be utilized.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that is very cool. I wonder how far. I guess they must know schedules and stuff far in advance because as they like do courses and stuff to figure out
Yeah, I mean, to just keep
logistics.
everything away from that, it definitely makes sense. We do have a couple more questions that were submitted through Instagram. Good one here, asked by Sherry, was how do you pace the three back-to-back races? Um, and I think talking specifically for Disneyland. Now, luckily, this we're not talking about like the dopey challenge. I think the big thing though is to pace yourself between the races. Um,
especially on the weekend that's as hot as this one because
yeah,
the hottest part of the day is going to be after the races. So you got to watch yourself when you're doing all the fun stuff in Disneyland.
Yeah, and it's definitely like easy to think like with everything being so close at Disneyland, like it's easy to get carried away. Like suddenly you're in a park and then you're hopping to the other park and you're like, oh well, I can just hop over and do this ride quick. And all of a sudden it's been several hours that you've been baking in the sun
And
and
drinking no water.
yeah, yeah, and of course hydrate, drink lots of water. Really just like prioritizing that recovery in between. You know, we love just like a hangout for these weekends
Yeah.
for sure. And now, you know, first time at Disneyland or first time in a long time at Disneyland, totally understand. But, you know, if you want the races themselves to go well, you got to give that a little bit of priority.
Yeah. And I know you particularly, like if you're doing back to back races for any weekend, I feel like you usually pick one to really like push a little harder on. You know, a lot of times if we're doing a 5K, you do it very slow because you do it with me. And then usually whatever, you know, the longest races, you're more there for like the photos and that kind of experience. So that might be a good idea too. Don't try to go all out, all three. Like pick one, make that kind of your focus for speed if that's something that's important to you. And then otherwise, you know, try to enjoy the moments.
Yeah, I love a
around
fun
it.
5K.
Yeah.
You know, get the most out of that course for
That's a
sure.
good tip. Don't try to do Phantasmic the night before a 10K on a 100-degree day.
I think that's just general good life advice.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that one.
um, oh, the fun one. What shoes and gear are you training in? That was from Geezer Gate, also a Patreon member. Thank you for supporting the channel. I mean, we could talk all day about gear, to be honest. You know, we love gear. Really, the only thing that's like I don't want to say changed up. I mean, my shoe rotation is still kind of the same. I just tried on shoes for the first time today, actually, during my 9 mile run. Excited to keep trying them. I thought they were pretty enjoyable. Um, because the on is partnered with Fleet Feet for our coaching program or our training program. So I got to try those for the first time. That
They
was
looked
pretty
nice.
cool.
They looked like comfy, but they looked, you know, just aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. So trying ons. I just tried high-lows last week. They were pretty cool. They're like a sustainable style of shoe brand. Um, Probably not like I wouldn't run out and rush out to buy a pair of those. I like the ons I ran in. I ran in the on monsters are what I have right now. And again, I did enjoy those. Otherwise, like shoe rotation itself is still pretty similar to what I've been in. Mach sixes are still one of my favorites. Um, Adidas, the Evo SLs are an ever fan favorite right now. Super popular shoe. Um, yeah, it's probably like my big couple ones right now.
Yep. I still am sticking with Brooks. I'll do the Ghost. I think I have 16s now. And then the glycerins, I'll kind of swap between them. And I have started using some inserts that I got from Fleet Feet. And that's one thing that I used to complain about a lot in the springtime. My plantar fasciitis is basically gone, which is great. And I attribute that to taking some running breaks over the summer and then the inserts and just goodwill of everyone around me.
Yeah. Jason asked any marathon majors in your futures. In the future, yes. When in the future, I don't know. That is kind of up in the air right now. I would love to do at least some of them, if not all of them, but I am not really rushing out this year to try to make qualifying times and register and sign up for lotteries and all of that. A little bit tired of the marathon right now, so just looking to kind of train and enjoy running and enjoy the running
Yeah.
year, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a rebuilding year, rebuilding everything.
And then a cruise question. On a cruise, are you a treadmill runner or a deck runner? We've done both. I would say if the deck has a full circle, like the fantasy or the magic, then yeah, I do like to go out and do the loops on the deck.
I've never tried running the loops on the deck, and I've only done a treadmill on a cruise a handful of times. I am on this upcoming cruise planning to run. I'm planning to do it on the treadmill 3 of the days that we're on the cruise. So maybe one of those I will do the deck, but it'll depend on what time of day it is and how crowded the deck might be because I don't want to deal with dodging people or being in someone else's way, which is usually what stops me.
Yeah. If anyone has any other questions or anything, please feel free to drop them. Otherwise, we'll close off the show here in just a couple minutes. Again, if you're running Halloween half, please, good luck. Have a great weekend.
So do they have any costumes that they can share?
Yeah, let's hear the
I like the
costumes.
costumes.
I know Jason has said he's not put enough hours into training, but has put too many hours into his costume.
Great.
He is our friend who always has the most elaborate, most amazing costumes for the race weekend, usually with very interesting themes as well.
He's a mashup king.
Yes, he loves a mashup or a reference. Yeah. Or if you're running any of the other weekends, let us know. We will, of course, be at all of the Walt Disney World weekends. Yeah, Wendy's got
That's a
Evil
good one.
Queen. Boring costumes, just trying not to overheat.
That's usually how I do it.
Yeah, I mean, especially with these
at
hot
Halloween
weekends.
last year though, because that's when I did the tutu, and I wore a regular shirt too. I didn't even wear a running shirt. Oh, but I looked adorable.
Yep, it's true. Yeah. Oh, other things. So we will be doing hats again. We're still not tied down to color specifically. I know navy for sure, maybe red, and then we're talking about bringing black back. But we did get it approved to get that stitched instead of the vinyl, which I'm very excited for. And then singlets, unfortunately, are kind of TBD right now. I am not 100% sure where we are on that. And that makes me very sad, but it is what it is.
We'll keep working on it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll figure something out. It's just not as tied down as I was hoping that was going to be at this point. Otherwise, I think that is all I got. Again, if you're running next weekend, good luck. We will have some Mouse Gen crew out there. Keep an eye out. My mom will be out there. She is very excited to represent Mouse Gen, and she'll be doing some posting and sending us some posts.
That'll be great.
Yeah. And some of the crew will be out there filming some content for us as well.
If you're an Instagram person and you want us to see/share your stuff, tag us so that we can repost it. We would love to have your help with that. Be our eyes on the ground.
Yeah. Otherwise, again, have a fantastic race weekend. We will be having a great time. At that time, we'll be in London. We're enjoying London, which we're looking forward to.
Time. So it'll be the afternoon/evening.
It'll be late.
Will it be really, really late at night, or just kind of?
Well, evening, yeah.
Okay, so we can still be watching. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up. Once again, if you do want to support the channel, please check us out over on Patreon, just patreon.com/mousegen. We do appreciate the support. We are looking to make some upgrades to some of our filming stuff this year, and that is pretty much what that is all going towards.
It's going to be great if we can get the thing that films really well in dark light.
Yes, there are the cameras I'm currently using. They're the Insta360 Go-2s. There has been since the Go 3, the Go 3S, and now the Go Ultra. And they have all made, increments in recording quality since then. So if we can, obtain what we need, hopefully we'll be able to bring some new cameras to our Run Disney season this year.
Because as you know, this one runs mostly in the dark.
Yes, it's true. And I would love, I'm content with the quality, but obviously as technology continues to progress, yes, that can be better. And then kind of the standard of it, continues to increase. So I'm definitely ready to be able to record in a little bit of higher quality.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then that'll also just give us extra cameras for other content as well.
Yeah.
But Again, support us on Patreon. Help make that happen for us. We appreciate you all over there. We'll have some exclusive stuff going up over there for our cruise as well. Early videos, some check-ins, and all of that stuff. And you can also hear more about the cruise on our DCL podcast as well. All of the fun plugs. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all of that fun YouTubey stuff. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.